Let's begin now for ourselves with spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is our way of knowing, because we realize that we will never be any greater than we know ourselves to be, and the events of our lives will never be any better than the ideas that habituate our consciousness. Throughout most of the week, we are accepting ideas at random. When we do spiritual mind treatment, we are accepting precise ideas, the ideas we want, the ideas that speak well about us, our potential, our ability, and our reality. Spiritual mind treatment is the conditioning of the mind for the success of the life of the individual. I will do this treatment in the first person, and I invite each one of you to accept it silently for yourself, also in the first person. All right, I recognize that I live in a universe that is perfect. There is perfect life throughout this universe, and there always has been and always will be. There is an intelligence at work throughout this universe that knows how to establish the universe in integrity, in harmony, and to let it unfold in ever more productive ways. I also realize that I live in a universe that is complete within itself, and everything that is ever going to exist already exists, and in right time and sequence finds its way into the area of manifestation. And I recognize that because I live in this universe, I am some part of it, and the law which governs this universe also governs my life. I am not a separate entity hanging out in space waiting for somebody to claim me and somebody to support me. I am some part of the power that I seek, and there dwells within me and accessible to me everything it takes to produce everything I want in the right order and sequence. I realize I am something greater than I appear to be, and I realize that that which has the power to make my life new is controlled by no one or nothing other than my consciousness, because it is through my mind that I know myself, through my mind that I feel myself, and through my mind that I reach to my greater self. The simple recognition of this immediately brings me in touch with power, and the simple recognition of this withdraws my belief in power, in the power of anything other than the universe in me, and through me as consciousness. So I am never alone, I am never abandoned, I am never without resources, I am never without the greater possibility of life in all things. Because the universe operating through my mind, builds my body, develops my character, sharpens my skills, heightens and purifies my emotions, and fills my life with great, good, glorious ideas about myself. Because that's the way it works. That's what life's about. And every success that I make in my life is the success that I am intended to have. Nothing in the universe operates against me. Neither do I. I am on my side. And when I am on my side, everything falls into place in my life. I am on my side. I'm glad to be there. I rejoice in it and let it be so. So it is. All right. Right, today, I'm going to conclude the series of 4 talks on applying the principles of science of mind to various areas of our lives. The areas we've talked about so far have been the areas of health, wealth, and love, or relationships. And today I'd like to talk about applying the principles of science of mind to the area of self-expression, or work. And the title of my talk today is The Joy of Self-Expression, because when we express ourselves, we are expressing ourselves successfully only when we are expressing ourselves joyfully. Nothing that we do really counts for much unless we are having fun doing it. I don't mean tickle, tickle, giggle, giggle fun all the time, but I mean the calm satisfaction of knowing that what we are involved in is great, good, wonderful, and has its reward built into itself. Now, most people think that they are expressing themselves well, at least as well as they can, when they are working hard at whatever it is they are doing, whether it's their job or their hobby or their vacations. I know people that work hard at having a nice vacation. I've been on them with them, and they're just dreadful. Or they think they're doing something wonderful when they're working hard at their marriage or relationship or at their social life. There are people all over this city that work as hard as they can to have a good weekend starting at 5 on Friday by Jiminy. Now, they believe that hard work is successful self-expression. And if the work that they are doing exhausts them, frustrates them, drains their energy, worries them, makes them nervous, overburdens their consciousness, makes them miserable. They think they must be doing a good job. Now, if they do happen to be doing a good job, it is in spite of this attitude, not because of it. And furthermore, I can tell you for sure that they are not doing nearly as good a job as they could do if they were not exhausted, frustrated, angry, and resentful. See? Deprived of time to relax, enjoy, and have fun. See? Their overall effectiveness on their job or whatever it is they're doing is bound to be limited and drained, both in degree and longevity, by the way they are abusing themselves in the pursuit of their work. Because they are using much, much, much more energy than it really takes to get the job done well. And you see, too much energy expended is just the same as too many vitamins ingested. What actually can't do the work just drains off. It just runs off and is wasted, goes off into nowhere, flushes away. And too often, these people are back hard at work again, struggling and straining, before they've had a time to regenerate their own energy. And that is a very unhealthy and ineffective way to live. Along with being a joyless way to live, it is a very unhealthy way to live. See? And when you stand back and look at this, you see that it makes absolutely no sense at all. Because what it amounts to really is destroying the machinery in the production of its product. Destroying the machinery or abusing the machinery in the operation on its task. You know, no good craftsman, whether it's a sculptor or a carpenter or a plumber, no good craftsman abuses his tools. They take very good care of them. Watch them work sometime. And yet many good people abuse their consciousness in the pursuit of their work, you see. And your consciousness is the master tool of all life. Now, we have made a virtue out of this kind of thing because we have made a virtue out of hard work. Working hard, working a lot, sacrificing a lot for our work. No time to do this, no time to do that, you see. And working hard, by this definition, has been elevated in today's world to the status of a virtue. And as long as we think of it as a virtue, we will never get out of it, because virtues are forever. See? You know, there's no surer way to perpetuate a vice than to describe it as a virtue. We tend to do that all the time with little character defects and things that we don't want to deal with. We suddenly announce that they're a virtue, and then we don't have to deal with them, you see. Absolutely. Now, our vice, when it comes to self-expression or work, our vice becomes a virtue when we give it a good reason why. When we say, there's a good reason why I have to do that. You don't know this industry. You don't know this company. You don't know this, that, or the other. The minute we give it a good reason why, we have turned a vice, we have disguised a vice into a virtue. But I'll tell you something, rule of thumb, there is never a reason good enough to cause us to continually exhaust, deplete, and frustrate ourselves because of some job. To cause us to ignore our families, to ignore our friends, to never have time to decently relax, to never have time to learn how to sleep and rest right, to never have time to eat right. I see people all the time, they have whole restaurant chains devoted to people who never have time to eat right. They're too busy working, see. They grab something on the fly, they'll say. They're cramming a sausage down their throat and then wondering why they have chronic heartburn. And they're doing it as a way of life. And all of it is so that they can keep working hard, keep working at it. Oh my. And people say, aren't they wonderful? They work so hard. They're a workaholic. Isn't that nice? I don't think it's very nice at all. Now, on top of it, you see, this does not make us good people. It doesn't make us essential people, see. It doesn't make us happy people, and it certainly doesn't make us healthy people. All right, people who approach life this way are not bad people. Indeed, they may be lovely people. They may be very good people, honest, loyal, kindly, dependable, all those things. You can't take that away from them, see? But they are also people who are misusing the energy of their lives. Say, well, it's only human to do that. Being human is no excuse. Being human is no excuse, because the purpose of this life is not to defend your humanity, but to reach for divinity, to reach for something higher. So being human is no excuse, you see. Yeah. They are misused. They may be good people, but they are misusing the energy of their lives. And life can respond to them only in kind by misusing them, by in turn misusing them, because that's how it works, see. And that is why, sooner or later, these dear people will start finding themselves feeling resentful, misused, abused, unappreciated, unrecognized, and before long they are saying things like, I worked hard all my life, and where did it get me? Or, after all I did for you. Two of the most commonly used sentences in the English language. Hear them all the time. And you know, the pity of it is that they did work hard, and they did do a lot, see? But more of their effort was sloughed off as waste than went into producing the actual product they were hired to produce, you see? And you know something? We only get paid for what we produce. Worry and strain are not pay items. There is no job description you will ever find. You go down the list of duties, you won't find, and you worry and you strain. You won't find it on any of them. They have no value as pay items at all. A few years ago, the air traffic controllers went on strike. They were very well paid, by the way. They went on strike. They wanted more money, and one of the reasons they wanted more money, the big reason really was that they were under continual stress, and their job made them nervous and worried them. Well, how will more money help that? See, they needed either to get their consciousness straightened out or get to another job. And frankly, I don't feel that good about paying somebody in a control tower who is nervous, anxious, stressed when I'm landing at the airport. Our suffering isn't worth anything. It's not worth anything to us. It's not worth anything to anybody else. It's like going for brain surgery, and the surgeon says, well, this procedure normally would cost $5,000, but I charge $10,000. I'll say, well, why is that? He's because it makes me nervous. Now, hard work is not what life is about. Hard work is not the way life is supposed to live, because life works easily and gently when we know how to express it joyfully. Life works easily and gently when we know how to express it joyfully. And joyfully doesn't mean without good effort. There is always activity of all kinds involved, you see. But it does mean without stress, without frustration, and without exhaustion. Now, you don't have to study the science of mind to learn how to work correctly and joyfully. There are many, many people all over this world who have figured this out one way or another, sometimes on their own. They're usually the ones we resent, you see. Now, you don't have to study the science of mind to learn that, but if you don't know how to express life joyfully and easily and productively in relation to everything you do, you don't know how to do that, the study of the science of mind is an excellent way to learn, because this teaching places the value of life on you for what you are, not for what or how much you do. This teaching regards the individual as valuable simply because he or she is an individual. And the work we do is not to establish our value or our right to be on this planet. The work we do is to demonstrate the unique, good, joyful existence that we are experiencing inside. That's where it starts from. You see, many, many people feel that they have no right to be on the face of this earth unless they are doing something. And as a result, they don't do nearly as well as they can because they're working for the wrong reason, you see. Now, everything we do and the way we do it reflects an attitude we hold about ourselves. And this is down to the way you hold a cigarette, the way you comb your hair, the way you walk down the street. Everything that we do and the way we do it reflects an attitude we hold about ourselves. Now, and when we must work harder, longer, under more stress, and do more and more and more than anyone else, we are coming from an attitude of personal inferiority and fear. It can't come from anything else. Otherwise, why should you have to do that more than anybody else? See? We are coming from an attitude of personal inferiority and fear, and this is even if we appear self-confident or even braggarts on the outside. Behind that front, there is a fearful person desperately striving for recognition, security, and a right to exist. See? Now, we're talking about an individual that does not think they deserve to live on this planet without paying for it in blood, sweat, and tears. And I'll tell you something else. No amount of success, no amount of prestige, no amount of recognition, no amount of money will cancel out that image. These people will get a big raise, a better job, their name in the paper, isn't that glorious? And they turn around and they're right back to it all over again. Even if you give them a job where there's less to do, they'll wind up still stressful, still straining, still putting every ounce of their energy into it. Yeah. A raise won't do it, a promotion won't do it, recognition won't do it, a new job won't do it. I'll tell you what will do it, and the only thing that will do it, spiritual work conducted at the mental level. That's the only thing that will change it, see? And this is precisely what we learn to do for ourselves in the study of the science of mind, to reconstruct these images that are responsible for unproductive outward behavior. Spiritual work conducted at the mental level, that's what will change this tendency to destroy ourselves in the pursuit of our work, our play, our relationships, our self-expression. See, because what is needed, you see, is a new attitude about ourselves, a new attitude about the world we live in, a new attitude about the nature of God, and a new attitude about the real source of our good. A vacation won't do it. People say, oh, God, if I only have 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off and back at it just like that. A vacation won't do it. A raise won't do it. A new job won't do it. No. Getting ourselves so sick and debilitated we can't work won't do it. People do that all the time, you know. That's what all these seasonal colds are about. Yeah. The body says, help, I've got to lay down. Give me a good reason. That's it. In some drastic cases, losing your family won't do it. They say, Harry's wife left with the children. He just had no time for them. Isn't it a shame? Well, Harry's a good worker. Harry's a lousy worker. He's a lousy worker because he lost what he was working for. That's dumb. That's very dumb. I'll tell you something else that won't do it. Retirement won't do it. Retirement won't do it. That's why so many people retire, shrivel up, and die. Just like that. Just like that. They don't think they're earning their right to live anymore. And if that's what they think, life will find a way to separate itself from them. Just like that. Just like clockwork. Florida is full of people like that. I have a friend who swears he had to move out of St. Petersburg because he was always late for work and was going to get fired. And the reason he was late for work was he couldn't get out of his driveway because of the funeral processions going by, one right after another. Had to move somewhere else. Yeah. They're full of people like that, and they're dying like flies. See, they don't lack money. They don't lack time, heaven knows. They don't lack talent. They don't lack even health when they go down there. See, what they lack is the belief that life has any real purpose for them other than the right to beat out their brains for some company. And when they get to the point where the company won't let them do that anymore, you see, then the reason for living is gone, and boom. Now, this killing attitude didn't begin when they retired. It's something that's been hounding them all the years of their lives, see? It has been stealing the joy out of their lives for many years, and now it's using their retirement to finish them off. And finish them off it does. Up until the time it finishes them off, generally because they don't have any business of their own to mind, well, you know, if you have relatives living there, they mind everybody else's. All right. All right. Now look, I do not believe in hard work. Oh, I've got relatives turning over in their graves who got there from hard work, by the way. I do not believe in hard work. And I am not favorably impressed by people who ruin their lives doing their jobs. First of all, they are not doing their jobs as well as they could be done. And secondly, they are not living their lives as well as they should be lived. They are at odds with the universe, with the natural flow of life. And they are not doing themselves or anyone else a favor. There is nothing really to admire in that. Now, I don't believe in hard work, I don't admire hard work, and I refuse to engage in hard work. I simply won't do it. Now, I admire competent work, I admire dedicated work, I certainly admire people who do the work that they're getting paid to do. If you're not going to do the work, don't take the money, it's disastrous. But I believe in work that glorifies the worker. So, no, the company, heck with the company. It has to glorify the worker. You know why? Because you're more important than the company. You're more important than any company, even Coca-Cola. You're more important than any company because people are more important than organizations all the time, see? Yeah. Now, I believe in work that glorifies the worker, all right? Now, such work may be simple physical work. It doesn't make any difference. It might be simple, routine, humble, if you like, physical work, or it might be very complex, brainy stuff that doesn't require any physical exertion at all. See, in my estimation, a janitor who knows how to work with ease and joy stands much higher than a neurosurgeon who is killing himself trying to save people's lives. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. See, the real success of our lives, including our work lives, is not the level of our employment, it is the level of our performance. And the level of our performance includes much more than how we do the job, but how we are living in all departments of our lives. See, that's what level of performance includes. There's no place really in a healthy society for somebody who is working at top level on the job and coming home and being so worn out that he's nothing but a jerk. Might as well forget the whole thing. I refuse to engage in hard work, and I work a lot. I work a lot more in this job than I ever worked before in my life. I work a lot more hours than most. I have a lot more responsibility than many, and I always demand of myself good results, and I usually get them. But I don't work hard. I work joyfully. When I find myself starting to work hard, like this, see, when I catch myself at that, I stop. I just stop. Because I know that this doesn't accomplish anything. This is a signal that I don't know what I'm doing. Or that I'm going down the wrong path, or something else has to happen first, or maybe I'm minding somebody else's business. Do you ever think of that? So when I find myself working hard, I stop. I stop, and I do something else. I do something easy. I do something that I know how to do, instead of wasting all my energy on something I don't know how to do, can't figure it out. So I stop, see? And I make sure that I have time for my friends, my family, myself. I make sure that I have time in the course of every single week. I make sure. That means you can't say, I'll get around to it if I can. I make sure I have time every week to please myself, to amuse myself, to renew myself, see? Because I know that my sanity, my health, my integrity, my life are more important than any job, even this one. See? Because my good does not come from any job, or any hobby, or any relationship, or any accomplishment. My good comes from the universe through my consciousness of being, and this must be a consciousness that is dominated by joy, happiness, ease. If I am going to produce joy, happiness, ease. See, my good comes from the universe, so does yours, And our part in creating this good in our lives is to trust it to flow to us to the degree that we are able to accept it with joy and express it with joy. If I can't do that, I know I can't do that when I am all tied up in knots over a job, spending all of my time and all of my energy trying to prove to someone else that I am better than I myself believe I am. Because that's what people like this are trying to do. They are trying to prove to their boss, to their company, to their coworker, to the world that they are better than they really think they are, see. And it places you under a terrible strain because you are engaging, nice person that you are, in spiritual fraud. All right. You see, God did not create people for work. See, God creates work for people. Very important point. God did not create people for work. Up in the universe, there is not some kind of God saying, you have to have 12 children born in Atlanta for Coca-Cola, 17 for AT&T. See, God does not create people for work. God creates work for people as our opportunity to grow and flourish and express life with beauty and joy and goodness, as our way to take this inner beingness of ours and pass it through some kind of operation or service to be of value to other people on the physical level, you see. So, what this means is that you and I come before and are greater than the work that we do. And when we know that and act as if it were so, the power that made it so works easily and joyfully through us to let it be so. All right? Now, we can learn this through a serious study of the science of mind. See? And we can come to enjoy the wonderful life that is our divine intention. And that is our divine intention, to live beautifully and wonderfully, because in truth, that's what you are, and that's what I am, and so it is.